Mike Rizzo, general manager of the Nationals, who you know.
Yes.
Okay. Said this when asked by Joel Sherman of the New York Post if there was any scenario in which the Nationals would trade Bryce Harper, who's a free agent. His response, quote, something extreme would have to happen for us to consider moving him. So that, the Dumb and Dumber phrase that you're saying, there's a chance. He's saying there's a chance in that? What do you think that means?
I think it would have to be something overwhelming for them to trade Bryce Harper. They've had a tough year. I've known Mike Rizzo a long time. We grew up at miles from each other back in Chicago. Almost went to the same high school conference of baseball players. They're 51-51. They had great expectations this year, and they're in a tough spot. They're chasing Philly. They're chasing Atlanta. He knows his team better than anybody, and if he thinks that it's time to sell off, whether it's bullpen or whether it's the big guy, the bullpen is one thing. The big guy's a major decision.
So the big guy, what is the extreme? Prospects that you didn't think that you could get, or what's the extreme?
One of those phone calls, as they said in the old movie, a deal you cannot refuse.
Yeah, the Godfather deal?
Yeah, you get a call from somebody, and the names you're hearing, you can't put the phone down. And it would probably take that type of deal to get Bryce Harper.
So we saw what he did on the home run derby stage, and it was awesome. I was there.
Yep.
I was there with my kids. My kids went nuts. And I also saw what the Nationals fans did in response to him. And obviously he's got a bond there.
No doubt.
But has he lost himself some money? It does, or regardless of what's happened this season, when it all comes around, he's still Bryce Harper.
Well, he's still Bryce Harper. He's still a great player. He's still one of the youngest free agents in the history of free agency when you think about it. And so there is a lot of cachet to that. But again, he'd have a lot more cachet if he was hitting 300 and doing the same things. But it's the free agent year is a tough year for some people, and it affects everybody a little bit differently. And I don't know Bryce. I know Scott Boras, who represents Bryce for a long time. So I don't know all the dynamics of it, but I do know that this is a very atypical year for a very good player. It just happens to be his walk year.
What do you think about the possibility of a rental for Harper from, I'll just throw it out there, the craziest rumor I heard was Oakland. What do you think? Is that a possibility?
Well, anything's a possibility, but when you're trading somebody of that magnitude and you have expectations, and I know he's going to be a free agent, but there's so many conversations that take place that you and I are not aware of. We don't know exactly where the Lerner family is and Mike Rizzo is with Scott and Bryce Harper. There may be all sorts of conversations that leads them into a direction that they're both going to follow between now and the end of the free agent period. But I think that it would take something huge to move Bryce Harper.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.